Hi students, welcome to
Lesson number 35.
Meaning and Factors of Social Change. Social change is one of the important characteristics of the human society. Society is dynamic. The term social change denotes the change in human interactions, interrelations, social, economic and political organizations. Various factors contribute for social change. The geographical, social, cultural and technological factors contribute for social change. Education, science and technology and social legislations are considered as the most important factors which contribute for social change. The social processes like Sanskritization, Westernization and modernization would also contribute for social change. The main objectives of this lesson to discuss about the factors of social change. Now let us discuss about the technology and social change in social institutions. Technology has profoundly altered our modes of life and also thought. Technology has not spared the social institutions and its effects. The institutions of family, religion, morality, marriage, state, property, etc. have been altered. Modern technology in taking away industry from the household has radically changed the family organization. Many functions of the family have been taken away by other agencies. Due to the invention of birth control techniques, the size of the family is reduced. Marriage has lost its sanctity. It is treated more as a civil contract than a sacred bond. Marriages are becoming more and more unstable. Instances of divorce, desertion and separation are increasing. Technology has elevated the status of women, no doubt, but it has also contributed to the stress and strains in the relations between men and women at home. Religion is losing its hold over the members. People are becoming more secular, rational and scientific, but less religious in their outlook. Though religion has not been directly affected by the modern technology, inventions and discoveries in science have shaken the foundations of religion. They have changed attitude towards religious rituals and creeds. The function of the state or the field of state activity has been widened. The modern states call themselves welfare states. They have become secular in nature. Modern inventions have made the state to perform such functions as the protection of the aged, the weaker sections and the minorities, making provision for the schools, colleges, universities, child labor laws, health measures, juvenile courts, etc. The modern inventions have also strengthened nationalism. The modern governments which rule through the bureaucracy have further impersonalized the human relations. Now let us discuss about social legislation and social change. Laws are a form of social rule emanating from political agencies. Laws become legislations when they are made and put into force by law-making body or authority. Legislations, particularly social legislations, have played an important role in bringing about social change. There are two opinions about the functions of law. The function of law, according to one view, is to establish and maintain social control. Another view stresses the dynamic role of law. It states that the function of law is not just to maintain social order through social control. It insists that law must bring about social change by influencing people's behavior, beliefs, and values. A careful analysis of the role of legislation in social change would reveal two things. Number one, through legislations that state and society try to bring the legal norms in line with the existing social norms. A number of social legislations were made in India both before and after independence with a view to bring about social change. The legislations that secured public support and the support of social norms could become a great success. For example, the Hindu Marriage Act was passed in 1955, enforcing the Hindus. Majority of the people practiced monogamy only. Public opinion was in favor of monogamy. The Hindu Marriage Act of 1955 could bring about a number of social changes. The act abolished all caste restrictions as a necessary requirement for marriage. The Hindus of all castes have the same rights with respect to marriage. Intercaste marriages are now allowed. The act provides for a secular outlook with respect to marriage and enables the registration of marriage. It enforces monogamy, making both the sexes equal in marital affairs. It provides equal rights for both to get judicial separation and divorce on legal grounds. In the same way, the Hindu Succession Act of 1956 could attain success. The act confers for first time absolute rights over the property possessed by a Hindu woman. Both sons and daughters get the right of inheritance of property because of this act. The Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act of 1956 has been a step toward the upliftment of the status of women. It permits the adoption of a son or a daughter. It makes the consent of the wife necessary for adopting a child. It has also given the right to the widows to adopt. In pre-independent India, social legislations such as the Hindu Widow Remarriage Act of 1856, Female Infanticide Prevention Act of 1870, the Special Marriage Act of 1872, Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929, etc., could attain success and pave the way for changes in society because they were in tune with the trends and tides of the time. On the contrary, those social legislations that are far ahead of the social norms and values and those that lack popular support and public opinion are bound to be a failure. Some of them may bring about changes very gradually in the long run. Some others may be simply ignored or even resisted. The Untouchability Offences Act of 1955 was passed by the Parliament in accordance with the provisions of the Article 17 of the Indian Constitution. It made the practice of untouchability a cognizable offence punishable under law. This act was, however, substituted by the Protection of Civil Rights Act in 1976. But in reality, Harijans suffer from many kinds of social disabilities, especially in rural areas even today. Here, the law is ahead of the social norm, particularly in the villages where untouchability is still in practice. The institutionalization of this new rule has not affected people's ways of life, because the majority of the village people have not yet internalized this norm. It makes clear that passing an act is not enough to alter the social practice. A social movement educating the public through propaganda is necessary to make effective such social legislations. In the same way, the Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961, which made the giver as well as receiver of dowry punishable, also has become ineffective. Legislation or any other governmental agency has its own inability to predetermine the consequences of politically sponsored changes. Legislation has its own limitations in inducing significant qualitative changes by coercion. Of course, men may be deterred by coercion from doing something that they might like to do. They may be encouraged by the government to work at their trade, pursue their scientific investigations, treat sick patients, etc. Now let us discuss about the education and social change. Education is one of the intervening variables in the phenomena of social change. Durkheim conceives of education as the socialization of the younger generation. According to James Welton, education consists in an attempt on the part of the adult members of human society to shape the development of the coming generation with its own ideals of life. As Samuel Koenig has pointed out, it is a process whereby the social heritage of a group is passed on from one generation to another generation. Education can also be understood as factor of social change. Education can initiate social change by bringing about a change in the outlook, attitudes of man. It can bring about a change in the pattern of social relationships, and thereby it may cause social changes. One of the purposes of education is to change man and his life and living style. To change man is to change society only. There was a time when educational institutions and teachers were engaged in transmitting a way of life to the students. But today, education aims to imparting empirical knowledge, that is, knowledge about sciences, technology and other type of specialized knowledge. Education was associated with religion. It has, however, become secular today. Education today has been chiefly instrumental preparing the way for the development of science and technology. Education has brought about phenomenal changes in every aspect of man's life. Education is a process which brings about changes in the behavior of society. As Drucker has stated that the highly educated man has become the central resource of today's society, and the supply of such men is the true measure of its economic, military and even its political potential. Modern education has changed our attitude and outlook. It has affected our customs and traditions, manners and morals, religious beliefs and philosophical principles. It has removed to a great extent the superstitious beliefs and unforeseen fears about the supernatural beings. It has widened our vision and removed our narrow ideals, prejudices and misunderstandings. Higher education has brought about more refined behavior. Education has contributed to a radical improvement in the status of women. Particularly, mass education in civilized societies has fostered the sense and feeling of equality. That education reflects society and educational change follows social change. Though education conditions development, it itself is a product of prior social and economic changes in society. Further, education is an independent factor in social and economic development, producing intended and unintended consequences and conflicts of values and goals. Changes in the educational system condition social and economic changes. Greater social mobility and more skilled manpower for technologically based industry. Planned educational innovations, policies and programs may contribute to the social integration and a more highly educated labor force and electorate. Education has been playing a great role in getting occupations which are key determinants of general social status. The schools are agents in realizing the desire for upward social mobility. The schools have been instrumental in transforming the occupational structure and modifying the class structure as well. In most developing countries, education is regarded as the gateway to an improved social position. Education increases political awareness among poor people also. This would bring about wider political changes with the increasingly organized participation of people in national politics. Education makes a man to become more conscious of his rights and also of his duty to provide and guard similar rights for others. Education is expected to contribute to progress, to modify the cultural heritage as well as to preserve and transmit it. In modern industrial societies, educational organizations have become innovators. They are gathering and storing new knowledge and are promoting change in the process of transmitting that knowledge. Social change is a term used to describe variations or modifications of any aspect of social process, social patterns, social interactions, social organization, social structure, etc. Social change is a continuous process. Social change may be planned or unplanned. The major factors which contribute social change are geographical factors, biological factors, cultural factors and technological factors. Apart from this, social legislations, education, science and technology would immensely contribute for social change.